Day 4, July 3rd, 2006. Possibly the most invigorating day of the week. The day before the 4th of July promises to be most touching. The buses pull in at 7:30 a.m., ready and awaiting today's mission. The day will be one that is specifically dedicated to the VHPA and all of America's fallen heroes. Today is a day that will be embedded in the minds of all of its participants forever. But before we get there, we wait. Almost 2,000 VHP members will board the buses to tour the Arlington Cemetery, witness the changing of the guard, view the tomb of the unknown soldier, and participate in a monumental wreath-laying ceremony in honor of the VHPA. On this day, we see the Arlington Cemetery through the eyes of Joe Duvall and his wife Donna. The Arlington Mansion and the 200 acres of ground immediately surrounding it were designated officially as a military cemetery June 15, 1864. This was done by the Secretary of War, Edwin M. Stanton. More than 4 million people visit the cemetery annually. Many are coming to pay final respects at graveside services, of which nearly 100 are conducted each week. More than 300,000 people are buried at Arlington Cemetery. Veterans from all the nation's wars, the American Revolution through Iraq and Afghanistan, are all buried here. It was quite a beautiful day. The sun was out and beaming, raising the temperature to about 98 degrees. But this is nothing compared to what many of these men had to deal with in Vietnam. The cemetery was breathtaking. The headstones of thousands of American heroes are kept in pristine, tip-top condition by the groundskeepers, and all of these are guarded by golden, embellished cast iron gates. As the tram cruises past many heroic legacies of the past, the tour guide highlights what we can expect.
We're going to load the tourmobile for a guided tour through the cemetery. At 10:15, we have a wreath-laying ceremony at the tomb. When that is completed, you load back onto the tram, finish your guided tour. They will bring you back here. You will go load the buses. We'll take you to the wall. At the wall, the wreath-laying ceremony is at noon, after which you load the buses. We take you back to the hotel. Got it? Okay.
You're going to see the Arlington Cemetery, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and other memorials around here. They're going to give us a guided tour. Waited in a long line, but it's worth it.
Many people of high honor are buried in this cemetery. Public figures like JFK and Robert Kennedy have the privilege to be buried beside military heroes like Master Sergeant Charles Wesley Lindewald Jr. of the United States Army. He was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. His body was recovered in South Vietnam after 36 years. It was 1968 when Joseph E. Duvall graduated college and entered the military. He had almost missed the drafting age, for he was 26 when he arrived at Fort Walters, Texas. At the end of September, after he graduated in the top 20 of his class from flight school, he then married his first wife, 28-year-old Blanche Martin. The new Mrs. Duvall stayed home with her mother and sister while her husband went off to Vietnam. Duvall entered into the 116th Assault Helicopter Company. He was a Stinger and flew gunships due to the much-needed demand on his high-ranking diploma. After only 2 months in country on December 1st, 1968, while flying combat assault in support for the 25th Infantry Division Wolfhounds, the UH-1C gunship Joe was flying crashed. A loud explosion occurred. The tail rotor came off, and he went down in the Hobo Woods area near Tai Ninh. He was on rocket coverage of troops deploying in a landing zone. He was about 500 feet above the ground and cruising at about 60 knots of airspeed. The aircraft commander, Captain Randall Ford, and Duvall were still strapped in armor-plated seats and thrown 30 feet away from the main body of the gunship after it impacted the ground. The 38 rockets the gunship carried cooked off in the wreckage, and all that was left was a crater. His crew chief, SPC-4 Frederick L. Gruber, and gunner, SPC-4 Larry E. Ricks, were trapped in the wreckage and died screaming. Both Gruber and Ricks were only 19 years old. After spending 2 months in Cu Chi, Duvall returned to the 269th Black Baron Battalion as a WASP. There, he flew slicks. Upon his return to the States, Joe says it took him a while after his return to rid himself of the guilt of surviving. He says his belief in God and Jesus was the only thing that helped him get through those hard times, and still is the one thing that allows him to appreciate times like today. Even the tomb of the unknown soldier holds great honor and even greater sorrow for soldiers just like Joseph Duvall. Maybe it was his courage to live that kept those fallen comrades from being MIA. As we arrive at the tomb of the unknown soldier, we are privileged to catch the changing of the guards. The tomb of the unknown is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and in any weather by tomb guard sentinels. Sentinels, all volunteers, are considered to be the best of the elite 3rd U.S. Infantry, headquartered at Fort Myer, Virginia. Here's how it works. An impeccably uniformed relief commander appears on the plaza to announce the changing of the guard. Soon, the new sentinel leaves the quarters and unlocks the bolt of his or her M14 rifle to signal the relief commander to start the ceremony. The relief commander walks out of the tomb and salutes, then faces the spectators and asks them to stand and stay silent during the ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Specialist Bickett of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Thank you.
The relief commander conducts a detailed white glove inspection of the weapon, checking each part of the rifle once. Then, the relief commander and the relieving sentinel meet the retiring sentinel at the center of the matted path in front of the tomb. All three salute the unknowns who've been symbolically given the Medal of Honor. Then the relief commander orders the relief sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The current sentinel commands, "Posts and orders remain as directed." The newly posted sentinel replies, "Orders acknowledged," and steps into position on the black mat. When the relief commander passes by, the new sentinel begins walking at a cadence of 90 steps per minute. The tomb guard marches 21 steps down the black mat behind the tomb, turns, faces east for 21 seconds, turns and faces north for 21 seconds, then takes 21 steps down the mat and repeats the process. After the turn, the sentinel executes a sharp shoulder arms movement to place the weapon on the shoulder closest to the visitors. This signifies that the sentinel stands between the tomb and any possible threat. 21 was chosen because it symbolizes the highest military honor that can be bestowed, the 21-gun salute. The Guards of Honor at the Tomb of the Unknowns are highly motivated and are proud to honor all American service members who are known but to God. As the anticipation dissolves away into the heat, the audience disperses as they find shadier locations and/or sightsee the magnificent structures that cascade amongst the Arlington Cemetery. All the while, each spectator awaits perhaps even a more special moment. The Arlington Cemetery will conduct a wreath-laying ceremony in honor of those helicopter pilots lost in Vietnam.
The ceremony that you are about to witness is an Army wreath-laying ceremony to be conducted for the Vietnam Helicopter Pilots Association. It is requested that everyone remain silent and standing during this ceremony.
This is truly monumental for a group that never received any recognition besides the wrath of a protester that spit in their direction and traitors that denounced then baby killers. This event for many will solidify the fact that those who served in Vietnam did not die in vain. Their country and the highest, most respected military facility chose to honor what was never dead, but fading to everyone except for those who truly lived it.
Ready? Step.
As they load up on the trams again, the crowd seems almost calm and tranquil in the hot summer heat. It is truly amazing when you can be part of history in the making. The sound of the tour guide blares over the speakers as the Arlington Cemetery streams by.
The oldest Buffalo soldier, Mark Matthews, at the age of 111, was buried here last year. Now, as we turn, if you